Why do cows have hooves instead of feet? Well, it's because they lack toes. What's going on, YouTube? So The Elder Scrolls Online is releasing a brand new mechanic slash a mechanic that's kind of already been around for a little bit. And I wanted to break it down because a lot of people think that this is either going to be pretty significant or completely insignificant. So that's what the YouTube video is for. Woo! So this is actually talking about the brand new Say All the Right Things with player response options. It seems like a pretty innocuous update where it's just something that gives you more flavor when you're talking to NPCs, gives them more reason to have different dialogue options, but it does open up some realms for some new things. That's what we're going to break down in today's video. And this is a feature that you can go play test right now by doing the prologue quest if you would be interested in doing that. And they say at the most basic level, player responses adds another layer to existing dialogue you're familiar with in the game. One that's more nuanced and emotionally charged. The player response options provides a wider role-playing choice for players, especially for those who don't have voice chat inside of Riften, says Project Narrative Director Bill Slavisk. In key situations during quests, we will give you the option to respond to NPCs in a variety of ways. This will lead to a different reaction from the NPCs and may sometimes even alter the path or ending of a quest. That's important, but just put a pin in that for now. Players have always made choices in the Elder Scrolls Online, whether attempting to bribe officials, intimidate guards, or resolve a quest that requires choices, which is important to note. If you've ever seen quest dialogue that appears red below the option that you're looking at, that is a choice that you're making that will alter how that quest goes and ends. And in this regard, the player responses options continues to build on what exists and aren't even the first examples of their kind. We've experimented with changing up the player's usual natural voice over the years, specifically in tense or dramatic situations in a quest line, but now we've made it an ongoing invisible part of the game. So here we've got some additional stuff as well, a couple little things here at the bottom as well as an example. And you can see here's an example of this. You can be nice or stand firm in this dialogue. I don't know why they also picked the option with the eyes closed of the NPC. Not the most flattering angle, but these options won't always be visible, but you'll find them more than just past quests offered and more clearly marked as the intended tone. There's several options, including kind, grim, merciful, ruthless, joker, and flirty, and that's going to be in addition to the ones that we saw above, which are just kind of more minimalistic. You always have our usual neutral tone responses, but other options will now be available. And one of the great parts of the new player responses, the characters you get to respond to, of course, fan favorites have had repeated appearances, so you'll be able to do that to fan favorite here, Razumdar. Everybody loves him. To sum up the rest of the paragraphs, they basically say it's a great way to kind of get new, unique dialogue options and new, unique ways to bond popular NPC characters like Razumdar, because now you could flirt if you would be so inclined to do so. You could be ruthless, be a joker, be merciful, grim, kind, as well as additional options. So you just have new, unique ways to interact with people who you've been able to already interact with a whole bunch, like the Prince Azah. You'll also have evil Sharp Arrow. So there's a whole lot of people that you're able to have these new options with. But a lot of people have been asking, is just going to have an impact on anything relevant? Like, obviously, I love questing, but sometimes, you're just trying to get through it, and you just want the rewards. So that's the key. And this will lead to different reactions from NPCs, and importantly, may even alter the path or ending of a quest. Generally, if you have altered the ending of a quest, you are actually going to get a different reward. Now, a lot of people are thinking to themselves, Jake, who cares if I get a different quest reward ending? Well, there are times when that is important. And let's give a perfect example. So, we are inside this random city, Gideon, inside of Blackwood. Now, you may not know this, but when Blackwood was first released, there was a desire to get the sets from here. Specifically, the Frostbite set, because of its ability to synergize with Frosty builds. So a lot of people were selling that set that came from this zone that was ridiculously expensive. What people didn't know, because people just naturally don't do this very often, is there was a side quest that literally gave you a Frostbite Ice Staff in a good trade. for free, just for doing the side quest. And I had a whole YouTube video dedicated to it because it was basically a reward for somebody like me to go out and play the side quest because everybody was closing the Oblivion portals, farming the furnishings that were selling for buku bucks, farming treasure chests, farming antiquities, blah, blah, blah. And I was doing the side quest because I knew that when the overland sets sell well, that sometimes you can find specific pieces that are guaranteed drops from quests. Now, you might think to yourself, Jake, how do we tie this back to where we're coming from? Well, it's actually relatively straightforward. Doing side quests oftentimes gives you pieces of that zone. So, for example, we're in Blackwood. We just gave an example of getting the Blackwood Frostbite Ice Staff in a good trait. That's a guaranteed drop from a side quest. If you start taking different paths in certain quests, you will alter the outcome. So, as a player, the reason I'm teaching this to you is that when the new zone comes out, if there's a big demand for those zone items, especially for specific weapons, because weapons are just usually more annoying to get than like body pieces, you can start doing some side quests and maybe even to try to experiment by doing the same side quest with different options to see if you get different pieces. Because yes, we do know of some that give different rewards, but they're from zones that are inconsequential. So, for example, if you just picked your random ESO zone, Anchorai, this actually has some decent zones to it, but the problem is that none of them really sell super well because they've been farmed to death because it's a base game zone. So, yes, there are side quests here that have different options based on which characters you side with in specific side quests, but you don't need to worry about that because any potential rewards you might get, the difference in valuation is nominal at best. So that's where this is more knowledge kind of going forward versus backward. Because even if you were to like, Jake, I got the Frostbite Ice Staff right now. I mean, yeah, it's good, but it's not like, oh my gosh, you hit pay dirt, you know? So that's where you really need to take this knowledge into new zones versus using it in previous zones. So that's where I wanted to kind of teach people this because we have a brand new zone coming out. And also, I think it's just interesting to know. I have a whole playlist too. Premium side quest rewards. Most of it is focused on like cosmetics and things of that nature, but there is also definitely the aspect of it that is there are some set pieces that are just very desirable, and I don't find them right away because I don't have the time to binge, like 50 side quests in a zone as soon as the thing comes out. And certainly if there's now multiple endings and they kind of go down this rabbit hole of increasing the amount of quest rewards and quest endings, it's just going to reward people who potentially take the time to do those side quests. Because I'll tell you, when Blackwood was first released, I went and did that quest on all of my characters. I was able to sell those Frostbite Ice Staffs for about 100k each. 100k times, what was it, like 12, 15 at the time? Like 1.5 million gold for what equated to a side quest that took like 6 or 7 minutes. So really can't complain on a return like that. So that's where I wanted to kind of teach this knowledge to you guys. I know that it's hard to apply it directly because we don't have specific quest lines that we know that are going to be very different. But I wanted to point out that a lot of people were just like, oh, it's just a change to ESO. But there are some consequential things that will happen because of it. So everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. As always, we're doing our 3 giveaway drawings. But importantly, I just want to point out the month of June is going to be special. So the month of June is going to have a giveaway hidden code word on every single video. Every single one for the month of June. May, we're going to have one. So there'll be one hidden word to keep an eye out for. Comments below. Second thing, though, you can do to enter for the May giveaways is just be subscribed. We're on the road to 31,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for that. And the third thing is just leave a like and or comment on the video. The more likes, the more comments you leave, the better. So thank you guys again. As a quick TLDR, just keep an eye out whenever a new zone comes out to different quest options. And hopefully we'll see some cool rewards that differ based on it. Maybe you can split different cosmetics to give you a reward to do a quest again on a different character. Get an unlockable cosmetic. I hope they go down this rabbit hole further. There are some definite quests that have this already implemented, but I would love to see it pushed even further for those of us who do side quests and also recognize the value of zone items. Because most people forget that every zone in the game has at least 3 sets to it, except for like the starter islands, which have the trainee sets. So every new DLC zone is going to have overland sets. Previous base game zones have overland sets, and because of that, side quests can have a bit of a reward if the sets there have some value, and some of them have retained that value over time. So thank you guys again. Have a fantastic Wednesday, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.